friends, your roving Boer reporter Cherikota, heading out the driveway once again for a excursion. But not Boer related today, more of a personal level. A couple of old friends I haven't seen for years. And I did mention this and promised you guys that you're going to get to meet a genuine rock star today. So I contacted him yesterday. I haven't seen him for 20 years. His name's Simon, world famous guitarist, lead guitarist in the Queen stage show We Will Rock You. Went to school with him and met him in 1976, so 50 years ago. As I said, I haven't seen him for 20 years, so I'm going to catch up with him today. We'll ask him a few questions about the early days, some of the early bands he was with. And I'm also dropping off an album by the Australian band called The Stars. Or Stars. The album was called Paradise. Which I got autographed in the late 70s, and we're dropping that off to a girl, a friend of mine, Beth, who knows the singer from Stars. The reason that the album is particularly valuable, or not valuable in cash terms, but valuable in as a memento, is it has the signature of Andy Durant. I got the autograph of three of them: Mel Eastig, Mick Peeling and Andy Durant. Andy Durant tragically passed away from cancer, melanoma, in the about 1980-81, I'd say. So I've been wondering what to do with this album for years and years, and then I sold a lot of vinyl recently, and the guy looked at the Stars album. He sort of wasn't going to offer any money for it, and I did say I'd like to see it go to someone that is going to value it. So it turns out Beth knows, is friends with Mick Peeling from Stars, the lead singer. When he heard about the album, he was thrilled. He's going to try and get some memorabilia together for a museum on the band. So that's what I'm doing today. I'm taking that over to Brighton, where I was born, and I'll catch up with Beth. I haven't seen her for about 30 years. So that's on the agenda for today. So we're heading off to Melbourne. This is the Melbourne Road, and I'll talk to you soon. Hi folks, I've arrived at first destination Beth's place in Brighton, which is just a couple of blocks from where I grew up. The cake shop, at the back of the cake shop where I lived as a kid, is literally like 1 or 2 blocks up that direction. I have no idea that she lived that close to where I grew up. She wouldn't know either, so I'll have to let her know about that. But anyway, we're not to talk about Brighton so much as to talk about this album. So this is the Stars Paradise album, right? So that's the lead singer, and Mick, and there's Andy. So if you look at the back, it's a great album, by the way. All the tracks are brilliant. So there's Andy's, Mick, he's the one who's getting the album, and Mel Eastig. Andy died very young from a melanoma cancer, but the song that I love particularly is "Look After Yourself." So this is what I wrote Mick. Hey Mick, I've been waiting for years to donate this very special copy of Paradise to the right person. I'm so very glad it's you. I got it signed at the Sandown Park Hotel circa 79 or 80, I guess. And although I love all the songs, one piece in Look After Yourself always fills me with emotion. The sweet timbre of Andy's voice on the line, I can tell behind your words that you had a plan of action.
Oh, no, no. I can see behind your words that you had a plan of action. The wasn't quite the same as what you said.
He sang that line so beautifully, I feel he's lost then. Thank you for great memories. Chetty Cotta. There's Andy there, playing his Telecaster. Yeah, that song, Look After Yourself, you can hear it on YouTube. Andy mixings most of the lead, but it is an Andy Durant song. So anyway, this is going to Beth, walk up to her place, have a cup of tea, and reminisce a bit. I used to go out with Beth's older sister way back in the 70s. So, all right, I'll keep you informed.
Said, hey baby, meet me, I'm a tough guy. Got my sickle outside, you wanna try? She just looked at me and rolled them her big eyes and said, oh, I'd do anything for you, 'cause you're a rocker. That's right, I'm a rocker.
Okay, so that went well with my friend Beth. Dropped off the album Stars to go to Mick Peeling. Might even put a little bit of that song into this so you can see what I'm talking about. But I'm now at Glen Ira College, which was Caulfield High. Yeah, back in the day when me and Simon reacquainted ourselves. He's on his way apparently. So yeah, I met him at Caulfield Tech. He was a year ahead of me. So he came here while I finished the next year at Caulfield Tech. But he failed that year, so he what's the word? Yeah, repeated. So by the time I got here, Simon was now in my year. So as we reacquainted each other, because we knew each other from the guitar classes with Mr. Gay. We'll ask Simon about Mr. Gay. And yeah, I think the student rec room was in there. It was amazing because, yeah, it was a you know, year 12 here at Caulfield High. You could wear casual gear, no more school uniforms. And also it was co-ed, so there were girls here. It's brilliant, right? So girls in the 70s here, they were allowed to smoke. They had these skin-tight jeans. It was all in there somewhere. There's a very relaxed school. I really liked Caulfield High. I don't know where we're going to sit. We're going to find somewhere out of the rain. Maybe here. Yeah, no, it was a really good year. Year 12 here at Caulfield High. After the all-boy school torment of Caulfield Tech and the stupid uniforms. By this stage my hair was quite long. There was a hall here where we did our year 12 exams. It looks nothing like this. There was a red brick one behind it. I wonder if that's not... Oh, look at this. Free bottles, man. Free drink bottles. That's a beauty. That's an absolute beauty. Wow. Hey, there's a table here under the cloth. We might be in luck. In which case I didn't need a milk crate. I remember coming to an exam here, quite an important one, actually. And yeah, this is perfect. You can sit here, put the camera there. We can sit here and have a chat about outside the music room. That's going to suit Simon perfectly. Yeah, I was doing this exam. It was a fairly important one. It could have been English or something. And on the way from my sister's here on my push bike, the chain came off. And I was already running late. I slept in for the exam. Typical Carter. This is the way Carter used to roll. I was running late, got the chain caught, I was wearing bell bottoms, so the bell bottoms got caught in the chain. By the time I've extricated the jeans from the chain, my hands are covered in black bike grease, and I've come running in to sit my, one of the most important exams in my life. And yeah, I think I passed, but not very well. Simon was always very pissed off that I got a complimentary pass and he failed again. So he gave away education at that stage. So yeah, brilliant, eh? It'd be good to see him here. He knew everyone, Simon knew everybody. No one knew him. He used to bring his guitar to class, into the rec room, and everybody wanted to know him. I'll make mention of this, but one of the biggest moments of my life was he invited me to his birthday party. I think it was his 18th or something. I'm not sure it was his 18th, but it changed my life. I met people at that party that went on to be big parts of my life, I think I'm going to grab this bottle. If you just leave it here. Could even park in here, Oh no, you can't. There's a railing there. Don't get too carried away, Cherry. Cherry Cotta, of course.
We're on air.
Yep.
So, the scene of the crime.
Alright, so I promised you guys a rock star. We have one here. This is a rock and roller from way back, and in fact we're going to start the interview with a quote from Sir Paul. The line is, "What's that man moving across the stage? Looks a lot like the one used by Jimmy Page, like a relic from a different age."
Yeah, so last century.
Does it feel like that?
Yeah, it does.
So, I met you in 1976 at Caulfield Tech. Remember that?
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah. Mr. Gay's, we're not making that up.
Yeah, that was our...
Mr. Gay's guitar class.
Do you remember an oddity about that guy? What of many?
Well, apart from him swearing at the students...
He used to chew something all the time, you remember that?
Oh, I can't remember. What did he chew? Tobacco? No.
Antacids, those little things.
Oh, you get me some quickies, wasn't
quickies,
it?
That's right.
Oh, yeah. He had constant heartburn, that guy.
Yeah.
Which, well, seems like he had no heart most of the time. But I think he meant well. He was just a ring-in, wasn't he? A ring-in guitar teacher.
So one of the things I remember when I met you, one of the first conversations you had, you'd been to see Queen.
Yeah.
And you remembered so much. Is it Brian Taylor?
Brian May.
No, what's the drummer's name?
Roger Taylor.
You remembered him using a little triangle or a little bell?
No. That was during Killer Queen, when John Deacon was handed a triangle and he just hit it for one note, and then the guy just took it back off him. I thought that was kind of very Queen at the time.
That's what you mentioned to me. But,
yeah.
So when did you get to Australia?
It's 1974.
Right.
May 1974.
And you come from Reading or something, wasn't
Yes, indeed. Reading, Berkshire.
So what were you into back then? Was it music or soccer?
Both. I was coming into music.
T-Rex or Slade?
Yeah, T-Rex, Slade, Sweet. Yeah. There's some good music around at that time. Gary Glitter, well, you know the story there, disgraced himself.
Were you playing guitar?
I was thinking about it. And I had a guitar there, but I wasn't serious about it until 17 years old, or 16, that time there, where we tried to kind of navigate our way through those, being forced to learn to read music lessons,
Yeah.
And
Had you bought the Strat then, the white Strat?
No. I'd had some dodgy Japanese copy that was a cross between a Strat and an SG, and it was pretty dreadful. And
Is that what you were learning on? Because I used to come over, you'd had the record play, you just kept lifting the needle, putting it on.
could have been that one. Could have been.
Old school folks, that's how they used to do it.
Yeah. That was, or put it on 33 1/3, slow it down and try and figure out what was happening. Yeah, it could have been that one. Because I still have what was a white strap. It was painted. It got wrecked, and then I refinished it kind of Fiesta red, and I still have that guitar now. And it's the neck's been replaced.
Yeah.
But yeah, I still have that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, one of the first bands I remember that you joined was the Imposters. Was that the first band?
Yeah, that was one of the first ones. That was just kind of a band we did for a laugh, you know. And
How did you meet the Jowards?
well, I went to school with Rick at Caulfield Tech,
Oh, right.
and met his brother Kelly, who I'm still in contact with, and he was a year below us, and brought Boot in, Kevin Beach.
Yeah.
It was, I haven't seen him in a long time, and
Some of the songs, I remember you doing Miss You,
yeah,
CZ Top,
yeah,
LaGrange.
yeah.
He was quite the frontman, Kelly. He was doing most of the singing. wasn't he?
Yeah. I mean, he still was in a band up to a few years ago in Canada, because that's where he lives now, and but he's still quite keen on. He's even got a karaoke basement. Yeah.
I thought you were going to say he was keen on getting the Imposters back together for a one-off show.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, Rick's no longer with us, so
Yeah, was that cancer? What happened when?
yeah.
Melanoma or something?
No, it was stomach cancer, sadly, and
would have been young.
27. Yeah, 27. I'd lost contact with him, and I'd met a guy, a mutual friend, who we were in another band together, and then he kind of he says, "Have you heard about Rick?" And I go, "Well, what?" And then he told me, and it was a real shock.
Was he a good bass player?
Yeah, I think he was. Yeah, I mean, he picked it up quick.
Yeah.
Picked it up real quick.
I remember he bought the bass from the guy from Jimmy and the Boys, or he swapped it or something.
Yeah, he used, him and Kelly and a few other people used to kind of see a few more than average gigs of that band, and I found them.
I loved them.
I found them a bit disturbing, but I see the point now. You know,
I loved them.
everything in hindsight is the perfect science.
Yeah.
But that he passed away too, sadly. The singer in that band, he went on by a couple of names, but yeah, they shook it up a bit, that's for sure.
Yeah.
They did an interesting version of "I'm Not Like Everybody Else."
Yeah.
Kink song.
So a while ago, I found myself down near Warrnambool or something, and we came through Timboon. Do you remember
Oh
Timboon?
God, yes, very much
And
so.
I went to the hall.
Is it still standing?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
exactly the same. I remember us loading the equipment out the back. There was about half a dozen people came to the show, but remember, underneath the stage was a fancy dress rack.
Oh God,
And,
yeah.
they broke in, they stole this pirate's coat, and I have memories of Rick Joward walking up the road here, setting fire to rubbish bins, wearing a pirate's coat.
Oh yeah, the things you do.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably tried to block that one out. I think we were banned from ever going back there again.
There's still wanted posters of you in Timboon.
Oh, well.
One of the big life-altering experiences for me was your party. So when I came here and I reconnected with you, and we knew each other because of the guitar, you were handing out invites for this party that was coming up, and I was waiting for my invite. Eventually, you sort of slung one over at me because I was hanging around. Was it your 18th?
18th, yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do.
Steve Mitchell-Moore was there, Boot was there.
I just played, Steve Mitchell-Moore was on drums last night for the Whole Lot of Rosie.
Oh, he's still going.
Yeah, he's still, yeah.
Really?
I sometimes introduce him as, "You've met my father."
A little red in the face.
Oh yeah, definitely. But yeah, he's still playing drums
Still
well.
live in Brighton.
Still living in Brighton. Still alive and living in Brighton.
Oh, that's good.
East Brighton, to be precise.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And that was a big party because I met those guys, and for a while there I couldn't shake boot. I'd just been to see Beth, reminding her when I used to take Michelle out for a date, and she'd look in the back seat and there's Boot waiting like a faithful hound.
The third wheel.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Now I've actually got something for you, and it's related to this place because when you were here, there was a time I challenged you. I challenged you to learn Jarundala, status quo song.
Yeah.
And sure enough, you came in the next day. It was a $5 bet.
Yeah.
Right? You came in the next day, you played the bloody thing, and I made excuses and said, oh, fuck, I don't have any change. I'm going to pay you, but allowing for inflation, right? So I've done the calculations. That's Jarundala money.
Oh, thanks. Ill-gotten gains.
So then we move on to Diesel. And in fact, you guys played.
Here. Right here.
Yeah. I was supposed to introduce the band. I came out in a Footscray jumper with a cowboy hat, and the crowd roared, yelled at me, and I ran off stage. But yeah, you played here as a three-piece.
Yes, we did.
Nick Pugh.
Steve Mitchell. Yeah, I had a jam with Nick a couple of years ago, actually. He's retired. He was with the Australian Customs Force.
Yeah, the airport, was it?
Yeah. It's called the Border Force now, I think. But yeah, he was with them for a long time, and he's retired now. Still kind of.
You still play bass?
Yes, he does. Yeah, he still does. He still loves music.
Yeah.
We don't connect as often as we should, as normally in those days. But yeah, he still appreciates music, plays a little bit of music. We move on.
Of course, you'd moved into your Robin Trower era with Two Rolling Stones.
Well, yeah, just an interesting segue. I just thought that they've about to release an expanded version.
I've seen that,
the full concert, which is... and I saw an actual interview with Robin Trower about that album. And I think it was Rick Beato on YouTube. You've probably seen a few interviews. Yeah, and he's great. And he played that Two Rolling Stones. And what I found amazing was Robin Trower said, I haven't heard this since we released it. Because obviously...
this was a single album, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a single album. And he goes, and they played Two Rolling Stone, and if you compare it to the studio version, he goes, we're playing it fast in those days when we were in a hurry. It was, but the interesting thing, what he said about that album, it was a radio broadcast from Sweden, broadcast live, I think, and they, Stockholm, and they recorded the album, but they had to re-record the lead vocals of James Dewar because the rest of them were just too bloody loud.
Yeah.
So they had to get James in the studio and redo the vocals live, which is, I think it's fair enough. A lot of live albums were touched up.
He was a bass player, wasn't he?
Yeah, bass player, vocalist. He's sadly no longer with us, but he was a high quality. I loved his vocal. He had a really good Scottish guy, bluesy vocal.
Do you know the Now Spinning magazine that's on YouTube? The guy Phil Astle? He covers all that stuff. He was a guitarist in England in those days.
Yeah.
But he's big Robin Trower, Rory Gallagher, that sort of school. But yeah, he was talking about the expanded and also the expanded Live and Dangerous.
Well, yeah, I have that, and it's 8 bloody CDs.
Yeah, which brings us on to the next topic. Music
October
Bowl.
1978, but 28th, wasn't it, or 27th?
I'm not sure, but it was your idea. You knew about Thin Lizzy well before anyone I ever knew. And we went and decided to sleep out.
Yes, we did it, and we witnessed probably a once-in-a-lifetime. We saw Thin Lizzy soundcheck.
Half a dozen of us.
Yeah.
Tony Stronger like us.
Yeah, and I remember a few joggers in the park kind of walking past, stopping to have a look. Yeah.
We were kicking footballs around. Gary Moore
shouted out, "You're a day early!" And I've got that on tape. Yeah.
Oh, you got a tape?
I've had it put to digital. I have the sound check, some of the sound check, and the concert recorded. Yeah.
I had for a long time that little badge with a mirror on it.
Yeah.
That's gone somewhere.
Yeah, and so's mine, and so is my autograph poster. I'll be damned if I know where that is.
I had Phil and Gary, but they were stolen in a backpack in Africa. So
bastards.
Yeah, don't
We're allowed to
that.
swear like that.
Of course, fuck it.
No, you fuck it. I'm tired.
So yeah, I remember we had to go out. We met the girls. The girls came and met us, Liz and Virginia.
Yep.
And then we ran in when they opened the gates because we had our stuff on the seats. It was prime. It was second or third row.
We were first row. We were actually front seat for that.
Right.
Yeah, we were front row. I have the photos to prove it.
So people have asked me along the way, what's the best live act you've ever seen? And it always goes back to that show. There was something about it was just fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, I think they were a band in their prime. They had a lot. I think one thing I remember was we had the Live and Dangerous album and all the fantastic photos of each band member. You know, it was really well packaged if you think about it. And I remember people, and myself to a degree included, being a bit pissed off. Oh, Brian Robertson's not here, and Brian Downey's not here, because they had Mark Norseef on drums, and I don't think it was a talking point after the concert, because I think as a cocky 18-year-old playing guitar, I thought I knew something about guitar. Then I saw Gary Moore and I go, oh, yeah. But back to the drawing board.
But there was that other band on
Waku,
and we were poo-pooing and putting them down. Actually, those guys
they were good musos. The singer was in Steely Dan for a little while. I read
up about them recently to see if they're still alive, and they're very accomplished musicians.
Yeah, they were. I just think it was a bit of a mismatch. They're a little bit maybe too funky, a bit too polished. I remember from that concert, John English going over particularly well.
Yeah.
John English.
Yeah, he was good.
And because he was, he had that, what was that, 7 ribbons?
Yes, 6 ribbons.
6 ribbons. That was quite a hit or around that time.
Yeah.
And he was always
good.
He did a magnificent version of Hollywood 7 that night, I thought.
Yeah.
It was excellent.
Yeah.
And his band was good too. He had Mario Milo on guitar.
Yeah.
And it was a great band. And the Sports were good at what they were doing. You know, they were kind of a bit rushed and rough. But
that guitarist from Red House or something, he used to play.
Yeah, but he wasn't. John Dallimore wasn't.
Dallimore, that's right.
He wasn't doing that gig, but John English was excellent. Thin Lizzy, top of the bill for the appropriate reason.
So we're just going to go back for a moment to Diesel. I was with you the night we went to Melbourne High. We played Melbourne High.
Oh yeah.
And how fucking nervous you were.
Yeah.
And I remember there didn't seem to be that many kids there, but one thing I remember is the band did Pretty Vacant, and I went fucking nuts. You know, the idea of hearing Pretty Vacant live.
Oh yeah, I think that was. I liked it because it was pretty raw guitar, and I actually. Nick Pugh was more into the Pistols than I was.
Yeah.
He was, and I remember him really wanting to do that one, so we did it, and a rebellious streak.
One of the songs you did, which is probably in the Epstein files, was Young Blood. The Bad
Ah,
Company.
the Bad Company cover of a cover. That
Yeah.
they didn't write that one. Okay, so just yeah,
Look at here, look at here.
yeah. Oh
Something
yeah.
about
Well,
that.
you think about some of those songs back in those
An
days.
underage girl. Yeah.
Good Morning Little Schoolgirl, the blues song.
Looky here.
Yeah.
So, I don't know what you were doing, but the next time I sort of remember was Hot Cockerel and Dave Evans.
Ah, yes, Dave.
How did you meet Dave?
Dave, actually, I was jamming with a drummer, another guitar player, and Rick. And we had a permanent hire of this place in West Melbourne, top of Spencer Street. Is that West Melbourne, North Melbourne, some around there? And we rented this place out just to jam. And we had some original material together. But we needed a singer, so we put an ad in the old Herald,
Yeah, right.
or the Sun, before they were Herald Sun, I think, for a singer. And lo and behold, he'd left a message. My dad took a message, and he had a jam with us. Took me to join his band because he didn't like the other guys, and I thought it was an opportunity. At that time, Dave really didn't acknowledge his time in AC/DC because he'd gone on to Rabbit, done a couple of albums with them.
Yeah, they were good, Robert.
Yeah, they sold albums in Japan and Sweden, but I don't think the infrastructure in communication like it is now to get your material and get a tour organised, because they could have done really well. But what happened was that was after Rabbit, and we did a few shows, and then Dave. After that, we didn't. The idea for putting a hard rock band together around Dave was try to get a record deal, as you do back in those days. But Dave, I think Dave had not, maybe wasn't popular, or had, it was, who knows, people thought he was too old back then, who knows, but he had the vocal chops to do stuff, but he's now he's kind of more exploiting, if it was the short time he was in AC/DC. The thing is, some of it, fair enough, he's doing what he's doing, but for all of the ex-members of AC/DC, I think he's the most contentious, because people either love him or they hate him, and it's there's a lot of diehard who have got the brand loyalty, so such as it is, AC/DC is a brand that despise him.
Did you see them a few months ago?
No, I didn't. I
Any
couldn't.
interest?
No. I think I've seen too many clips of. He can't sing anymore.
No.
Angus is playing brilliantly. Angus is really playing brilliantly, but it's painful to hear those songs sung poorly. It is, and that's no disrespect to the work he's done. Stellar work on albums before, but comes a time when that style. But then you look at Mick Jagger, who still sounds great at 80. He still sounds like Mick Jagger.
Yeah.
So it's different style. That's just me.
Paul McCartney's shocking, his vocal.
Yeah, but I mean, let's be fair. People will still go, like with AC/DC.
Yeah, right.
He doesn't need the money. He doesn't need the money.
What about SAS?
Oh yeah. What about
Did
them?
did they come after Hot Cockerel?
Yeah, they did. We kind of.
That was your project.
Well, it wasn't mine, but everybody seems it's everybody was a willing participant, and
They're all over rage.
yeah, we started as a rock metal cover band. Then we started
Who
to
else was in it?
Steve Mitchell on drums, Nick Pugh at the beginning, but then we got in a gentleman called Don Jenkins on bass, Renee Smith on vocals. Then it was all original material, which we put on an album, 80. When the heck was that released? 85, 86, maybe 87, called Warlords. And, you know, that...
Because I had a cassette. So you remember that heavy metal shop in the city,
Yeah.
near the square? There was that rather large lady that was at all the gigs. And I went there one time and I bought this SAS cassette.
Oh, that would have been our demo.
Could have been, yeah, it had 3 or 4 tracks. Kind of. It never stuck with me.
No. I mean, I think it was well played. I think we were thinking more about the playing than the actual compositions. Get a riff, bang it together.
I think, is there some SAS on YouTube?
Yeah. All that.
From that era?
Yeah. All the tracks are on there.
Always looking for Steve at the front trying to see his hair up against the stage, but I haven't been able to spot him in any of those
No.
clips. So how long did they last for?
We lasted until about 4 years, until then what happened in 89, it was real, what you call tribute band phenomenon kicked in, you know, and I was roped into
Try as a Bono and
Well, at the time there was only 2 tribute bands doing the circuit, and that was us, Back in Black, which I was doing Malcolm's part, and Bjorn Again. Yeah, and Bjorn Again have done incredible business around the world.
Yeah.
So they're very clever in how they've done it.
Yeah.
You know, so very, very clever. And
how long did Back in Black carry you along?
Back in Black, I left that band in 1992. Yeah, and did an Ozzy Osbourne tribute called Miracle Men. Did just played.
Doing Randy Rhoads?
We're doing all that. We're doing Randy. We're doing.
Was that the part you were playing? Oh, there were 3 pieces, really?
Yeah. That was with Renee on vocals from SAS. Then we had a drummer from another band I was in called Fair Warning, Daryl Naughty.
Yeah.
Then bass was Mick Lodge from the Virgin Soldiers, and yeah, we rehearsed. The idea was, the agreement we had was, we weren't going to be stuck in a rehearsal studio for months and months and not do a gig. So we just made the deal that, okay, a month's solid rehearsal, and then we just went out and played as often as possible. Yeah.
So let's move on to the Queen years.
The Queen years. Okay.
So when did you audition for the Queen stage show?
We Will Rock You. I auditioned for that in 2003. 2003, yeah, in South Melbourne. My friend Paul Walsh, who was bass player in Hot Cockerel, rang me up and said, "Oh, there's this Queen musical. You've done Queen covers before. You should." I didn't even know what a musical was back then. No. And then he said, "You should audition for this." I said, "Oh." He goes, "Yeah, Brian May, Roger Taylor are doing all the. They're doing all the auditions for cast and crew, and not cast and band." So I thought, okay. So he had the phone. He had the phone number of the fixer, the lady that was organising all the play, all of the auditions. I rang her up. I said, "Oh, I've done this, and this. I hear you're doing auditions," and she says, "Oh, I'm really sorry. The card is full, you know." And I said, "Oh, no big deal." So the very next day, she rang me up and says, "Oh, someone's dropped out of the auditions. Can you go in tomorrow?" And everybody else had their charts and prepared, and I said, what will I be playing? And she said, you'll be playing One Vision and Who Wants to Live Forever. So,
They're not real guitar songs, are
well, One Vision is, yeah, definitely. Yeah. And
they? They're not the rockers, I'd imagine.
One Vision's got a bit in it. So I learnt those. Played. I didn't get to play Who Wants to Live Forever. I'd learned it all. And then they made you play in a band setting to see how you would kind of work as a band, because they wanted it to sound like a real rock band, just not like a normal stage show where it just sounds like people reading the charts really well. They wanted a different thing from it. So did that a couple of times, and then I just went to meet Roger Taylor and Brian May. I didn't expect anything from it. And then I spoke to Brian after, had him autograph something for me, and he goes, well, you've made our choice easy and difficult. And he goes, I go, what do you mean? He goes, oh, we'll see you in a few months. I go, oh. I thought he was just being nice. And then about 3 weeks later, I got a call from the production company saying, you've got the job. So,
Well, why did they do it out here? Why didn't they just recruit in England?
well, they'd already had the English production going.
So each country had their own
Yeah, well,
band.
Australia was the second production, totally Australian cast and band and everything. So it's a separate production from England.
Right.
So
But didn't you go and do it in England?
yes, I did.
Right.
Yeah, I got asked to do that. I went to Japan to do it, which was great, fantastic, twice. That was the Australian company going over and doing that. And then individually I was asked to do the UK, which I last did in 2022. And also did the European Arena Tour, which took in some very interesting countries: Finland, Bulgaria, Turkey, Istanbul.
Or with We Will Rock You?
Yeah.
Is it any
Denmark.
Is it any good, the actual stage production?
Yeah, I think it is. You've got the there's a few Groundhog Moment days, of course, because everything's the same, but you never get sick of playing that music.
How many songs would you do?
27.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Hammer or Fall?
Hammer to Fall, yes. I also did it on the cruise ship as well, Anthem of the Seas.
Oh, wow.
So
So that's what I saw you in Sydney. Come up, I think.
Yeah.
Siebel Townhouse. Came and saw you upstairs.
oh yeah, Surrey Hills.
Sorry, it was yeah, like a Brian May guitar,
Yeah.
Brian May amp or something.
Yeah.
Are you still in contact at all?
Yeah, time to time. You know, you don't like to impose on these people. You know, Brian's obviously busy and he's
He protects hedgehogs or something, doesn't he?
badgers, I
Badgers.
think. Badgers.
Yeah.
He's very much into animal welfare, which is
That's good.
a righteous cause, I
Yeah,
think.
me too.
Yeah.
So a couple of people, I'm wondering, have you ever met Scott Gorham?
No, sadly no.
Brian Robertson?
No. But I know someone. I worked with a keyboard player on We Will Rock You, the first and the second UK tours, who did a project. It was a tribute album to Frankie Miller. You know, the singer Frankie Miller, who Robbo worked with. And he worked with Robbo, and he says it's one of the best guitar sounds he ever heard. He goes, oh, what was he using? And I said, just a Marshall, Les Paul. That's all he, a couple of things in between.
Yeah.
But, Robbo, it's great.
Did you ever get to see Gary Moore again?
Yes, I saw his last tour. The first UK tour, 2009. He was doing his Bad For You Baby tour.
The Blues.
Yeah, it was a good album. And I had the day off. I was actually working in Manchester at the time. and he was playing in Leeds,
Yeah.
and it was just an hour's train ride to Leeds on a Sunday, and it was like a 2-minute walk to the venue from the station, so it worked out rather well. Probably similar to when you saw UFO, you know, that venue, which is now, you saw them at the Gaumont. It's now called the Mayflower Theatre, same building.
Right.
What's interesting, that was Bon Scott's last
Yeah, I played that. Yeah.
yeah, I played there, which was, did a bit of a tribute online to him, which was Night Prowler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A band, and I think I've seen something about a reunite, is the Bengal Tigers.
Yeah, they've been around, they've been going for...
Your mate was Barney.
Yeah.
Or they all were called Barney.
Yeah, he's no longer involved in Bengal Tigers or playing guitar at all, like last I heard. But a dedicated guy, you know, he kind of believed in what he was doing.
Yeah.
But the Bengals, you know, sadly their bass player Steve Tyler, original bass player, passed away.
Who was the little guy with curly hair that sang for the Zep Boys or something?
Oh, Vince.
Was he one of your friends?
I know him through Facebook and social media, but yeah, he does well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about Stone Trap.
Yes, Stone Trip. Stone Trip, yes.
What a name. What's it mean?
Yeah, you'd have to ask, like, You're
the new boy.
I'm the new boy, yeah, but it's only been nearly two and a bit years
How long
now.
have they been going?
They've been going since 2017, 18, maybe.
Right.
Yeah. In one form or another, yeah.
And they're all originals?
All originals, yeah.
Flying V.
Yeah, for the Fame song.
Is it Gibson?
No, it's not. It's an Edwards, a Japanese copy.
Right, yeah.
It's still a lovely guitar, really.
I might put a couple of snippets of the song in this. If they want to sue me, just tell them.
No, they'd appreciate.
I'm bankrupt.
They'd appreciate spreading the word. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah. We don't care who shares our music, really.
Have they? You done an album or anything?
Oh, they did an album before I joined. That's the 2023 release. I think I've done the last 4 singles and the latest EP. And now the challenge is we've got some good ideas there waiting to. We've just got to arrange them and get the money together to record them. But definitely, the whole point is to do a new album.
To get plenty of work, or enough work.
Oh, you know, a little bit. Yeah. Not as much as we'd like.
I guess it's hard these days to make a living as a muso.
Well, yeah, definitely.
Just on a personal thing.
Yeah.
When I was in Sydney, I got together with these young guys. We recorded a couple of songs I wrote them, nothing special, pretty basic. But one of the kids was called Ronnie, right? Lots of tattoos, black hair, good-looking kid. They all were. I got together on stage in Petersham with long-haired boys behind me, show off a little bit. But looking at a Rose Tattoo clip recently, the boys, Angry Anderson, are in this car, and there's this young fella with long black hair covered in tattoos hitchhiking, and it's Ronnie.
Oh, okay.
That I met in Sydney.
Is he in the band now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's with them for their last tour. I think they're winding up. Angry can't really sing either. But yeah, that's real interesting to see him again. Very talented kid.
Obviously a good guitar player then.
Very good, yeah.
Yeah. I'd fit the image with all the tattoos and stuff. I never went down that path.
No, that's your wussy.
Oh, I changed my mind, that's all.
So thanks for giving me some time, Simon.
Thank you.
Let's not leave it till we're 90 to see each other again.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we'll be repeating the same stories and questions. We'll have no memory we've ever spoken.
Do I know this person?
Alright folks, that's Simon, that's your rock and roller for you. So if you see him around the gigs,
Give me some love.
You're in a couple of bands, aren't you?
Yeah.
Alright. If you want details, just message me and I'll get you details on where to see him.